So one more field is remaining in this packet. So I am not going to draw the header. Okay, this command and version and zeros. 8 and 16. Then comes your AFI and this was zeros, right? Now this gets converted into route tag. Now route tag, I am just giving you a highlight of it, but we will cover it again once we are done with OSPF, because then we will be redistributing OSPF routes into RIP and RIP routes into OSPF. Once we redistribute OSPF routes into RIP, then you will understand what are external routes. Right? So that is where the route tag is used for, to distinguish what are routes which are not internal to the autonomous system. How do you differentiate? So this is R1, right? This is R2, this is R3. Fine. Now R1, R2, R3 is having network 1. This is a RIP domain. RIP is running here. Right. Network 10. Network 10 and 20. Network 20. They are communicating RIP.
Yes.
And then this is R4, R5, and this is these routers are R3, R4 and R5 are talking OSPF. What is this network? 30. This is 40. So 30 and 40 information is available in OSPF and 10 and 20 is available in RIP. Somehow you want the 40 and 30 information to also reach R1, because there will be a PC connected here. And if you want, and there is a PC connected here, this PC wants to talk to this one, it should know the route, right? The path how it will go. So we have to redistribute here. Now for these routes on R1, 20 network is what? R, right?
Yes.
R, that's how we know. This is R. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
But for that one, like 40 and 30, you will have R plus something. That will indicate it's an external route outside the RIP autonomous system. RIP will be carrying that information, but it's not inherently originating from RIP. Understand? So we will come back to it when we study another protocol and when we do the redistribution. Alright? Okay. So that is primarily the difference between the packets. Another thing that you guys are missing is authentication. Authentication. In RIP version 2, there is support for authentication. Authentication. That means 20 of its bytes are used for authentication. That means one network advertisement is reduced. How many networks could the RIP update do in version 1? 25. And each network would require 20 bytes. Now, one of such things will be reduced and will be used for authentication. Keep that thing in mind. So, RIP version 2 can maximum take what? 24.
Yes.
Bytes are remaining same, the packet size remains same. Of what? 504 plus 8. So, RIP packet is 504. Okay. But the updates in this maximum can be 24. Alright, that's what you have to remember. Okay, having done with this, let me say something more about this. RIP version 2 also summarizes automatically. RIP version 2 also does summarization automatically. What does this mean? I have to explain this so that you don't get confused. What is this? 172, okay, 192, 168, 10.0/26. 192, 168, 10.64/26. 192.168. 10.128/192.168. 10./26. And this is what? 20.0.0.0/8. R2. So what will by default go here? Irrespective of rip 1 or 2, it will go as network bit.
Yes, sir.
Alright? Now what is the use? This is R1 is doing what? It has nothing to do with subnet mask. It is automatically summarizing. Whether it was R1, rip version 1 or rip version 2. What is the use? Because you are sending the effort required for sending 4 subnets. Instead of sending 4 subnets, you are just sending the major network. Now, what will this install? 192.168 10.0. Towards what? Fast Ethernet. 0/0. Okay. On fast Ethernet 0/0. On 20.0.0.1. Right? What is 20.0.0.1? In its routing table, this is how what it will install, right? Network, how? R, followed by administrative distance, followed by hop count 1, and via this on this interface. This is what it will install. Now imagine a packet comes in here. For what? Let's say 192.168 10.1. It comes for 10.1. So what will it do? It will check what network does it belong to. It belongs to 192.168 10.0. Do I have information 10.0? Yes. Where? I have to move it to this side. The packet reaches here. What packet? With the destination IP 10.1. This checks, oh, 10.1 belongs to which subnet? It belongs to this one. So I need to forward it here. So did we need to send it all the information here? No. Assuming that the packet comes for 65. Again, this will match it and forward it here. This one will send it here. Similarly for 129 and 193 will work. Okay. Now, if we wanted to disable auto summary, so what do? We do this. Going to the rip mode, and then we say no auto summary. On what? R1. What will this result in? All four subnets being advertised here. Understand?
Yes.
So all 4 subnets will be advertised there, and this will be having all the 4 subnets. But you understand what is the need for this to have all the 4 subnets? Unnecessary. You are increasing the routing table, you are sending extra effort, right? Up till now, okay. Imagine that you were having how many routes? 28 routes. R1 was somehow from here, they were routers connected here, and was sending 28 routes with 4 included in this. That means how many packets it needed? 2 update packets.
Yes.
Right? If we are doing automatic summary, these 4 is shrinking to 1. 28 minus 4? 24 plus 1 instead of 4, you are sending 1, 25. Can do in 1 packet?
Yes, sir.
Right? So that is the use of it. You are reducing the consumption of bandwidth. Right. And of course, this will have to process less. That is the use of it. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
So that's why you want to use summarization. Again, when we study the other protocol OSPF, we will again go through the concept of summarization. But the behavior of RIP is that it automatically does summarization at network boundaries. And how do you disable it? No auto summary. Under router RIP, you give the command router RIP. Where do you land? You land up here.
Configure router.
Right? That is where you land, and then you give this command no auto summary. Okay? Next, So how do you configure RIP version 2? How do you configure RIP version 2? Huh? So what you do is, you are here. You do this for RIP as such. Where do you land? Okay, here you give the command. And of course, then you give the command network, whatever it was, or whatever network it was. But the difference is addition of this command.
Version
Version 2. And if you want to remove the version 2, no version 2. Alright?
Yes.
This will enable the movement of subnet mask along with the update for each network. That's the only difference to configure it. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Done with this part?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Next, auto summary, that is done. Okay. Sometimes okay. Pallavi,
Yes, sir.
what type of router is this?
What type of router?
Yeah. Okay, I'll give you a hint. Others keep quiet. What about right? Is there a particular word for these routers?
Stub routers.
Good one. Very good. Right?
Yes.
So there's only one path to go out. Perfect. Right? How many stub routers now? Now, one. Right? I'm assuming that this is the world. This is the internet.
Yes.
Get used to this cloud also. Right now that you are maturing on the part. So this is the cloud, and this is you are going towards the outside world. So this is a stub router. Stub router. And what do we have generally on the stub router? Default router. Now if we don't want this to be configured on here, neither do we want to be configured on here. So default route says what? If you don't find anything, send it this side. That's what it is, right?
Yes, sir.
Default route it is. So what we do here is, this is the outside thing,
Yes.
right? So this is what network? 30 network. This is 20 network. This is 10 network. Okay. So what do we do here? On R1 you give the IP route. It says this is dot 1, this is dot 2. Huh?
Yes, sir.
So if we have to create a default route on this, we say IP route. Alright. And then say 30.0.0.1. That's what it says. Alright. So this is the default route for R1.
Yes.
But now using RIP, we want to propagate this default route to R2 and R3. Using RIP, we want to propagate this default information to R2 and R3. So that if R2 doesn't know about 40 network, so imagine this, that there is a 80 network here. Okay? Or, let me correct this. There is a route here, R4. Okay, and this is what? 40 network. And this is dot 1, this is dot 2. Is this clear?
Yes,
I don't need to put up it. So for this, clear or not clear?
Yes, sir.
So the default route is what?
Yes, sir.
If you don't know anything, you send it to this side. Because here you are learning 30 network will be here,
Yes.
using RIP, 20 network is here, and 10 network is here. Wonderful. But if you don't know anything, for R1 it is saying, using this, I will send it blindly to this side. And so if a packet comes to R1 for 80 network, using this default route, it will be able to send.
Yes.
Huh? It will be able to send. Correct or not?
Yes, sir.
But now, do I go ahead and configure on R2 also?
Yes.
The static route or the default route, and on this also. No, I don't do that. What I do is I simply go on R1. I have configured this, right? I go to what? Outer rib. I get and then what do I get? Information. Okay. So what this will do is just like it was advertising what network? 30 network here.
Yes.
It will start advertising this network also on this. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Similarly, this will advertise this one. So all will have a default route pointing towards that direction. Okay. So this is useful. Rather than going and doing obviously 10 and 20 they know. Right? Using the routing protocol. Right?
Yes.
Using the routing protocol. And default route also they are learning via RIP. Understand?
Yes, sir.
Again via RIP. So that also helps. This clear?
Yes, sir.
Alright. The next thing. By the way. The next thing is the difference in the destination MAC and the destination IP addresses used by RIP. RIP version 2 uses multicast. RIP version 1 used to use broadcast. At what? Layer 2 as well as layer 3. Layer 2 it used all Fs and layer 3 it used all ones.
Yes, sir.
258, 258, 258, all ones. 250, all 255s. Okay? So that's what it used. Here in this case, it uses multicast. So what multicast address does it use at in layer 2, at layer 3? 9. It uses this. For now, you only need to remember this. It's a class D address. Class D address, right?
Yes.
002 128.
Yes, sir.
02 127. 128 to 191. 192 to 223. 224 to 239. So it's a multicast address. Right? Further, the MAC address used also is a multicast MAC address. For now, you just need to remember this. You need to really mug it. Right? We will come to the logic of it, how they are derived, about this one, how this is derived from this IP address later. But for now, you need to remember that 9 is the multicast MAC address. This part is common. That will be used for OSPF also. And similarly, this will be also be used in OSPF. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Alright?
Yes, sir.
That's it. RIP done. No? Yes or no?
Yes, yes.
Now, what you can do is do some practical,
Yes, sir.
where you can try with the RIP version 2, and then you can try the default route originate,
Yes, sir.
and then see whether it works or not. So you make a topology like this, connect a PC here, right? Have a 10 network, 20 network, 30 network, and a 40 network. And similarly from here, you create a default route and then propagate it. Then see how it works or not. Also, what you want to do is using version 2, you want to run the no auto summary.
Yes,
And then also you want to do is do a practical where you do debug IP rip, where you see the not only the network going through but also the subnet mask going through.